Our new virtual environment still brings us old problems in new forms. Last year, our students in elementary, middle, and high school shared they have experienced ugly incidents of harassment, bullying, and racism that we as adults did not disrupt. This has led students to feel vulnerable, unprotected, and unseen. This is an age-old problem in the world, and it has not disappeared in this new virtual environment. If bullying or hate speech is posted to the chat forum or words are said over video to a student in your classroom, do you think any students are now thinking about anything else but the results of this hate? And undoubtedly, there are students who either feel or know the hate was directed at them personally. What can they possibly do but experience the fight, flight, freeze response? Think about this for a minute. Is that student listening any more to your lesson? Are they thinking about anything except for shame, or fear, or fury? Is their brain now chattering full of assumptions about what other students in the class are thinking about them? Can they hear what you're saying anymore? There's no concept or skill that is now more important. Your lesson is not the most important thing in your class anymore. If you have lost one student who can no longer hear what you're saying, is that even worth continuing? And if you don't say anything, if you don't know how to talk about racism, if you are fearful of talking about racism, and you then do nothing, well, you've effectively just taught every student in that class how not to talk about racism too. The message is just conveyed that it's not even worth discussing at all. And what about that student? What do they think tomorrow and the next day and the next? How can they possibly become everything they have the chance to become here if they are now dehumanized? You are the example. You are the teacher. You don't teach students only with your knowledge. You teach with your character. You teach them with your actions. You teach them with who you are at your very core. You are teaching students how to think. You are teaching students how to have agency, how to see themselves as an authority in their own life. Sure, we're teaching students facts. We tell them about history. We show them how to calculate a square root. But what is the value of all this knowledge if it has no meaning? You are the one that helps them see that meaning. We cannot delude ourselves into thinking they are here because they are stoked to learn algebra or poetry. They are here because they are waiting for you. They need you. You may be the one that inspires them to see greater, to be more than they have ever envisioned themselves being before. And when you leave hate just lying there, when you leave the student just floating there alone, you fail everyone. Your school, this district, your community, your class, and most of all, you fail that student. Do something, anything. Maybe what you do isn't perfect, but if it's done with empathy, care, and love, then it will be the right action. It will be seen by your students. We have to begin to understand our own fear of why we avoid talking about hate. Fear blocks action. When fear is present, there is no action, but fear is just thoughts. Fear is born from assumptions. We must spend time understanding our fears. If we do not, we will continue to let hate go unchecked. The time for being silent is over. Complicity is over. We are here. You are here to create a district, a Madera that works for every student, that treats every single student with dignity, honor, grace, respect, and love. This is going to require our humility. We may know a lot, but we barely know anything. And if we desire to understand, if we desire to change, then it's time to start listening. It's time to start observing. It's time to start being curious. It's time to start taking action. We are wading through the most difficult school year we have ever experienced, facing challenges that have no measure. But hate doesn't care. Hate will cut us no breaks. So, we must act. Know beyond a doubt that you will have our full support when you stand firm against mistreatment, harassment, bullying, sexism, and racism. It has always been there, and now it may be in typed comments. We know it will not be ignored, and we will be there to support you.